Now, we are delighted to have the pleasure of speaking with the legendary Grammy Award-winning producer, singer and songwriter. He's joining us in the studio this morning. Thank you so much for speaking with us today.
Yeah, my pleasure. Thank you.
I have to say, it really is an honour. The entire team here has been so excited about you coming in. I wanted to begin by asking you about the stunning Finalize Orchestra. Tell me about the process of putting this all-female-led orchestra together.
I think it happened around 2 years back. My friend Sheikha Kapoor introduced me to Excellency Reema Hashmi, and we had a meeting, and then she casually mentioned, "Yeah, would you like to start a female orchestra?" And it was our dream. And I said, "Why not?" And so I collected my team. There's a friend called Maisa Kara from Berkeley, and she came in, and then slowly, we started constructing a studio so that they can. It's called the Firdaus Studio. It's getting ready now. And we wanted to do the studio so that it could be a scoring stage, like the good old Hollywood days, and where South India, I've seen movies being played and orchestra plays and all this stuff. So it's a multicultural, multifaceted orchestra where I wanted classical music, Western classical, then Arabic, and like a meeting point between cultures. And I think that's a very important thing now. When we understand each other, there's more peace in the world. So through music, I think it's the best way.
Mm-hmm. So 23 nations from across the Arab world. How did you finalize the members of the orchestra? Was it a hard process? Was it something that you kind of already knew how you were going to put together the orchestra?
No, actually, I was very open. So because people started giving me, I want to use the orchestra, and this is the score. I said, no, wait, we don't even know what the orchestra is. This was like 6 months back. That till I see the faces, till I see the musicians, till I know the quality of musicians, I can't promise anything. The music will be dictated according to what the orchestra is, not the vice versa. But luckily we got some amazing virtuosos and amazing musicians out here. And
well, of course, we briefly mentioned 23 different nationalities of the orchestra. Does that change the way that you put this beautiful music together when you're working with musicians of such different nationalities?
It does change because initially my idea was to write 10 pieces for the orchestra, like a completely new material. Then I felt like, why should we write new things? It needs a bit of hand-holding, because across this region, for them to understand, not understand, like the interpretation of classical music. So what we did was jammed with probably 8 or 10 Arabic musicians out there, the Qanun, Bazouk, and Oud, and felt like they were playing classical music on Qanun, which is very different. So we adapted that idea and then reorchestrated. You might have noticed on that concert day we had different arrangements of the Hungarian and Mozart and Beethoven, and our own arrangements so that they shine with this orchestra. So,
now, was it really particularly hard to get the nationalities in different cultures to blend together smoothly to get the end result that you were actually looking for?
We were lucky, actually. We got this really good young energetic conductor, Yasmina Sabah.
Yeah.
And so when I spoke with her the very first time, and after the July 4th, I think, I had a meeting. We had, and I realized that she was very quality conscious, and she was a perfectionist, and she had it all. So my burden was lesser than telling them, oh, it has to be perfect, and people are going to take on the mobile phones. And so music is a common language. You don't need to tell people. There are a lot of people who would not, many musicians have not even seen an orchestra. They were all solo musicians. So they were awestruck by, oh my God, look at this. And so it was fascinating.
What goes into putting together such an incredible performance like this? I'm sure people around the world have seen this stunning performance. Of course, it closed Space Week here at Expo, and it was the official, long-awaited debut of the orchestra as well. So I imagine it's not a simple process when you're staging a performance like this, especially in this stunning location with endless possibilities.
A lot of hard work. A lot of hard work, and initially I thought it needs to be produced, and we need to hold and not give a live rights to. And then when I saw 1 day or 2 days before how the orchestra was performing, I was like, no way, everybody can see it live, because it's so good, and they were near perfect. And I also debuted my piece, which is called Humanitarian Spirituals, Al-Amal, which is an inspiration piece for what the East is doing, space, endeavors, and so I was inspired by that. I said, let's give a sound to that. And
now, as far as that piece that you just talked about in space, how did that, your particular piece that you put together for the end of Space Week, how did that come about for you? How did the transition from your typical writing style in Space Week get put together as well?
Strangely, what happened was, the Cassini in NASA had originally told me to write a piece. So this was like 3-4 years back, and I'd kind of thought about something like this. But that didn't happen. I think something happened and, it fell apart. Many musicians were actually contacted at the time. Then I said, I used part of that, because I'd worked a little bit on that. I enhanced that and said, okay, it's a space thing. And added the Drupad kind of vocals in this. Because Drupad is a very ancient art of music in India. And it has a sense of sensuousness and at the same time a poetic glides in it and portmanteau in it. And I thought, with this orchestra, how will it mingle? The whole idea was to bridge cultures and without jarring your ears. So, yeah.
I have to say, absolutely majestic to be able to watch, and particularly, when you juxtapose it with these beautiful lights and the sounds coming out of this fabulous location. It's just, something we've never experienced anything like that in Dubai. What is next for the orchestra? Incredible debut here at Expo. How do you top that? What's the next coming up project for the orchestra?
The whole, actually, it's opening by itself. There are no tick marks here. It's very organic. They're getting noticed by their own credibility and their own perfection and own talent. And we have some surprises. Actually, something happened last week, which was phenomenal. And they got featured in Classic FM, and there was a shout out from Classic FM saying that, it's an orchestra in the Middle East, trying to promote, women and empowerment and all that stuff. So it's great. And for me, I think Firdaus is inspiration, not just an orchestra, because people are disillusioned now, disoriented, and to see, these amazing musicians perform at the core of Expo, and Expo itself is so inspiring. Look at all this stuff, and it's like a dreamland. It's like, and I feel like really blessed and honored.
Well, you can actually see by the smile on your face that you actually, something really is really personal to you, and that's the key to all success, isn't it? I think everything you do in life, really.
Very true. I think it's challenging at the same, terrifying, but I think without courage and challenge, there's no life. Right?
Incredible.
Well, Mr. A.R. Rahman, thank you very much for joining us here at Studio Expo this morning. It's been a pleasure for us to have you with us here in the studio, and much success with the orchestra and everything you do from here on in. Thank you very much indeed.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Well, there you go.